right, you guys, everything's jury-rigged. It's a little bit on a slant. This gentleman has parked the truck in a beautiful spot. Here comes a bus, GTII. I am your intrepid reporter, coming to you from, here's the clatch, literally the clod of criminals here in front of the SEC. I'm here to speak to Gary Gensler. Here, the commission will make war without border on any who sell securities by fraud or misrepresentation. Gary, I think you are conflicted out of your position. As you know that Goldman Sachs makes most of its income in the stock loan department, whether it's fraudulent or not. So I think I need to speak to Mr. Gurwal, because I don't think he's been corrupted, whether intentional or not, the way that you have, Gary. I mean, I'm a friend. You and I didn't get where we got. You're much higher than I am because of our looks. So going after Kim Kardashian is a league that you're not in. Here it is, 170 million shares of GTII. But Gary, you got where you are because of your brains, a little bit of serendipity, and you already have $100 million. So why not use your power now to help the working class and the middle class and the upper middle class, you know, the farmers and the firemen and policemen, the first responders, the barbershop owners, the auto mechanics, the janitors, the medical support. Help them have a bit of the American dream that you got. But I think you may be conflicted out because that's not really good English, but it's a legal term, I guess. Oh, thank you. But so I'll talk to Mr. Gurwal. I was going to show you a graph, but unfortunately it's on my phone. Yesterday there was a bear raid. Two stocks, FNGR and GTII. These bear raids were committed by in the case of GTII, by this set of criminals. They're mobsters. We're 103 million shares. It's a Lynn Partners, another swell group of guys. And in the case of Finger, there's 13 million shares in the public float. How did these shares get sold, Gary Gensler? Well, I'll talk to Mr. Gurwal. You should look into how these shares got sold. I think it's called a blue sheet investigation. Ask for time and sales. Ask for phone records. Here's the criminals in GTII. Here they are. Look at the lawyer down here, Richard Nadish, covered by his legal profession. They're stealing money from Americans that work hard, not like you, Gary. I know you and I think we work hard, but the people that have to drive trucks, dig ditches, put up the telephone lines, they're investing, and you're letting them down. When I trained at Merrill Lynch, we were told we had the best capital formation markets in the world, the envy of the world. And now, criminals like Timothy Sykes and the rest can organize bear raids to destroy people's confidence in these markets. I hope that maybe Maria Bartiromo and Melissa Lee, Charles Payne, maybe Tucker Carlson could see this video, because you've got to look into what's going on in the American markets. I guess it was the 42nd president signed the crime bill that the 46th president wrote. And this crime bill put mostly men that aren't my skin color into prison for smoking marijuana, selling a little bit of cocaine. I mean, it's here, you've destroyed generations of families in the pursuit of law and order, I guess. But you did that without a thought. Here, you've got a couple, in the case of GTII, you've got a couple of white boys from Great Clam, New York, robbing billions of dollars, certainly hundreds of millions. And it's because they're protected by lawyers like this and by the system that's fraudulent. What's happening, Maria, if you look at this, is that the markets are defending something just like social issues, something that happened 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. Instead of focusing on short sellers, these guys, let me give you the numbers of GTII when it comes to it. GTII, the Kramers, Kurt Kramer, has sold 200 million shares that do not exist, and they will not exist. And the company doesn't intend to give him any shares. And this fraudulent lawyer here, this is all in my judgment, it's all my opinion, and I'm not giving financial advice. But this lawyer down here writes a letter so the market makers take orders to sell stock that doesn't exist. So, Gary Gensler, going back to you, if you want a level playing field that you talk about, a level playing field, give all the longs a check so that they can buy 200 million shares without cash. Just give them a chit that says, we'll go buy that. There it is, Richard Nadich, check into him. And then you've got Charlie Mayo, Kurt Kramer. It goes too quickly, you can pause the video. And then Melissa Lee, I'm sorry, when I was up at CNBC, I got her name wrong. I was a little nervous when I was doing that. Melissa, you've attacked these short sellers and courageously. And you've had a guy in from the SEC, I'm going to forget his name, but he now works as an expert here. And he says these cases are complicated and it's hard to track them down, and then the SEC settles. Well, look, in the case of GTII, it's all wrapped up. It's all wrapped up. We've been putting it together for 2 years. It's cartoon characters. It's just one guy shorting against a non-existent note illegally. Go to the Google. You go up in the little digit up in Google, you type in Kurt Kramer and you type SEC, you hit send, and it'll all come up. Everything will come up. Go to Twitter, type in GTII, and you'll see a bunch of people there. Contact Ham Short Killer. Contact Ham. He is the Mick Jagger of this issue. 20 years of studying it. And I let me just see if I left anything out. It agitates me so much when I think of the crime. Tucker Carlson and I'm trying to think who else. Charles Payne. I want you to consider something that's happening here. Goldman Sachs, where this guy came from, makes money with assets under management. It's a bank. They also make money guiding companies up through their friends' capital formation markets. And Maria, you come from a part of the world that a lot of people have invested in this. And each of you have had luck in life and hard work. I'm not taking that away. You deserve it. But don't let these kind of criminals I've been pointing at, Mr. Growell, next run, take the American dream away from people that are working in different fields than you are. Well, in the case of the big banks, it's all about assets under management. So Charles Payne made me consider one thing. In the DTCC, reportedly, there's $75 trillion worth of assets. $75 trillion worth of assets. I looked it up. You have better access to information. But there's over $125 trillion apparently in financial assets in United States accounts. What if that means there's 50 million assets that are all fraudulent? They're all shares that were sold by criminals like this. Who are, look at that guy up there, Charlie Mayo, with the cigar. Or the rest of us worry about our livings. Why would they deserve this criminality? Why do you look the other way, Gary Gensler? You know, the bear rate, a month ago, they had sold 150 million Gensler said you want a level playing field. And Mr. Bernard, you talk about confidence, enforce the rules, ask for the time and sales, ask for the phone records, go after the market makers. These are shitty little market makers to help them commit fraud. Now, the 42nd president was all about self-regulation for the financial markets. So I'm leaving FINRA out here. FINRA is useless. They caught 2 guys trying to cheat on their entrance exam. It's up to you, Gary Gensler and the SEC. We're here in front of the SEC. But anyway, I wonder how many of the assets under management in the financial system that people are charging fees on are rotten. They don't exist. It's a scary thing if you want to think systematically. I think, Gary, you need to get the uptick rule back. And the final thing I'll say, because it's already 11 minutes, you can't settle trades. Why? We live in a modern computerized system. Here's my suggestion to you, Gary Gensler. Call StubHub. They trade hundreds of millions of dollars in tickets. Every day people send them money, they get their ticket, it's got a barcode. Call StubHub. They will follow the securities and settle the trades that you can't do. So anyway, thank you for watching. Oh, longs. If you waited this long, let me tell you something. At GTII, I know you're discouraged, but GTII has announced several times that they are going to issue digital dividends. They've tried. The SEC has blocked it. FINRA blocked it. They're still working on that, and that is public information. So don't give up hope. There's a chance that there could be in the future some sort of digital dividend a special dividend that'll trap these guys. Secondly, there are fundamental news potential, like 1-800 law firm, and then there's one other dividend coming. Oh, they've announced the warrants. So they've announced that you might get warrants at a higher price, and I'm sure that'll be back on the table. So it's a little cold out here. There's reason to hang on. Don't give up hope. This was a bear raid by these criminals, and it's not going to last. They're going to be caught out, and if Gary Gensler doesn't do it, Mr. Grewal will do it, and if they don't do it, I'm sure Maria Bartiromo will study it. I'm sure Charles Payne will look in it. This is a stick figure crime. It's in daylight. It's one guy, Kurt Kramer, his brother, and a henchling, and you can follow it very easily. It's not all complicated, and even Gary Gensler could follow it if he spent 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to wish all of you a good day. It's a beautiful, gorgeous day. You got to be thankful for all the joys in life, and don't get as worked up as I just did. But thank you guys very much. Cheers.